We're recording.
Okay, call the meeting to order. If you'd call the roll, please.
Kate Vargo, Dan Delahunt, John Fike,
Here.
Blake Harris,
Here.
Greg Peugeot, William Siemens. I'm sorry,
Here.
William Siemens.
We have 5 members here. We are a quorum. We had the minutes for the March 4th meeting. If everybody's read them, is there any questions? Not a motion to approve is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meetings are approved. This is meetings in an adjudication hearing, so which means if you were going to give testimony, you need to be sworn in. We do it in mass, so if you raise your right hand, promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You are sworn in, and I saw all the hands have counted, so. When we have your item, if you're going to give testimony, I need you to come to the podium, give your name, your address, and then you can start speaking, because we need to record who you are. And it's a lot easier if you tell her. All right, the first item on the agenda is 329 Meg Street. It's a variance for zoning code section 1129.14 to allow the construction of a single-family residence at the rear yard setback of 6 feet. Is at 9.5 inches, whereas the minimum setback is 30 feet required.
Yep.
We have the staff's comments. Is there anything additional you wish to add?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing else I'd add to the introduction is that it concerns permanent parcel number 56-00621.000, and that reads 9.5 feet. I was given a range, so I just used the range for the analysis.
Got it.
Moving on the slideshow, you'll see on the left-hand side a zoning map, which you'll see the property zone R2F, two-family residential, as are the surrounding properties. On the right-hand side is a location map to give you a better look at the character from an air perspective. Moving on the left-hand side of the slide is a street view photo that we took to give an idea of the existing condition of the space, and on the right is a proposed rendering provided by the applicant. Now on the screen is a proposed site plan. The property is outlined in red, and the area in question is a part of the property that has a irregular jog to it that creates the need for the setback variance in question. At this point, I'll also mention that the applicant did come before this board last year and already got a variance, but when they surveyed the property, they realized it wasn't a large enough variance. So, returning customer. Staff analysis. The variance sought by the applicant would enable the property owner to build their home within the existing character of the neighborhood. All other zoning code requirements would be met by this proposed single-family residence. Therefore, staff recommends approval with the following conditions. 1, all applicable permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, and any other applicable agency prior to construction.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this request? If so, please come to the podium.
Taylor Hines, 401 West Shoreline, Unit 1, 18 Sandusky, Ohio.
Erwin Hines, 22400 Halberton, Beechwood, Ohio. The father, the daughter. Yeah, we're just excited about the opportunity to build Taylor's home. She's an educator here in the community, and we look forward to working with the city and building this single-family home.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak against this request? Seeing none, return to the board. I will tell you, the pictures of your home are beautiful. It's just too bad the lot had that little jog to it, but we understand. So, any questions from board members?
I just see that there was a public comment here. Says on Monday, March 17th, 2025, the property owner of 324 Meg Street called to recommend that the site be designed such that the applicant can park on her own property versus having to rely on existing street parking. I think with the garage as it's arranged, it seems to me that that is easily met.
Thank you. Yeah, staff did not have a concern about it. That's a requirement of a standard site plan review process, even if a variance were not required.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve this variance.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions on the motion? I can go, if you'd add per staff requirements also.
As long as for staff requirements and all applicable permits are obtained.
Thank you. If you'd call the roll?
John Fike,
Yes,
Blake Harris,
Yes.
William Siemens.
Yes.
the variance is approved. Thank you very much. And appreciate your patience, too. The next item is actually it's late in the thing. We're going to move one up. The reason I'm saying is that there's three of us here now. I've got a conflict with that, so I can't vote. And anything that passes has to have three members in approval. The property owner's here. She's been told, she's aware that it will come up at the April 17th meeting. I'm going to have to have it tabled at this time.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience besides Mrs. Chicotel that wants to speak on behalf of this? If you would please come up and ask your questions, comments, whatever. So I don't want, if you tell us something that's good, then you don't have to come back. So it's all.
Well, it's for the 528 East Market.
Now, this is for 314.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're
I thought you were
moving it up
tabling all of
because-
them. My bad.
Yes.
Yep, nope, you're all right.
If that's the case, we have a motion to table. Call the roll.
William Siemens,
Yes.
Blake Harris,
Yes.
John Fike.
Yes, that item is agended. Yes. Tabled. The next item is 528 East Market Street, a variance to the zoning code section 112914 to allow the construction of a single-family residence at the front yard setback distance of 15 feet, whereas a minimum setback distance of 25 feet is required. We have staff's.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This request concerns permanent parcel number 56-00609.000 for the variance request you just stated. On this slide, we see on the left side the zoning of the area. The parcel in question is outlined in bright red. It is 528 East Market Street. It is zoned multifamily residential. Surrounding the area to the north, we have commercial services in the maroon, which I believe that property is Mac Ironworks, the beginning of that development. Some similar multifamily zoning, two-family zoning to the north. To the west are currently vacant lots that are commercial service. Same to the south, and to the right is more residential. And on the aerial view, you'll see the mixture of the character of development from an aerial perspective. This is a street view photo taken a few weeks ago of the existing lot right now. This is the proposed site plan with, again, the property outlined in red. That black checkered line represents, and it's labeled as much as a 15-foot front yard setback, which is the proposed variance. Again, 25 feet is required. I will mention, we did try to encourage the applicant to adopt a configuration of this house on this lot that had a more narrow building frontage with the benefit for the applicant in the future to maybe put another house or two. They did not go with that option, and that's their choice, but I wanted to just make sure I addressed that. Nevertheless, no comments from other departments or adjacent properties owners. Staff analysis is that the relief, this would provide a relief of 10 feet. The variance sought by the applicant would enable the property owner to build their home within the existing character of the neighborhood, and all other zoning code requirements would be met by this proposed single-family residence. Therefore, staff recommends approval with the following condition. 1, all applicable permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, and any other applicable agency prior to construction. I'm going to flip back to the proposed site plan while you guys talk.
I'll throw in one comment as well.
Thank you, Mr. Panis. The 3 parcels to the west of this, if you recall, are all new builds, and staff brought forward a variance request for all 3 of those to be 15-foot setbacks, so this would meet the same setback as those new homes.
Thank you. Okay, is anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of this request? Please come to the podium. You're good, though? Okay. Is there anyone who wishes to speak against this request? Seeing none, we'll come back to the board. Any questions?
We had given those variances for those other 3?
The 3 parcels to the west, correct?
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this variance under the conditions that all applicable permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, and any other applicable agency prior to construction, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? If not, please call the roll.
Blake Harris,
Yes.
John Fike,
Yes,
William Siemens.
Yes.
variance is approved. Thank you very much. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 914 South Meadow Drive. It's a variance to zoning code section 1145.17 to allow the construction of a fence at a height of 6 feet in the side yard, whereas the maximum height is 4 feet is permitted for fences in side yards. We have staff's comments. Is there anything additional?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This pertains to parcel 60-00043.076. On the left-hand side of this slide, you'll see the zoning map with the property outlined in red. 914 South Meadow Drive is R175, single-family residential. The immediate surrounding area is both in land use and zoning district classification, single-family residential, with a couple exceptions noted on the right-hand aerial, and just that they're vacant, but they are still zoned for similar use. Street view photo is on this slide of the area that is proposed to be fenced in. And this is a proposed site plan. Looking at the legend on the bottom, you'll see the yellow represents fencing that does not require a variance, that is supposed to be 6-foot tall vinyl. The yellow fencing that has a red underline to it is where it is 6 feet, where it's supposed to be 4. Now, since this is a corner lot, I'll take a moment to mention that our code requires that on corner lots, the longer side is the side yard. It's the side lot line, and the shorter side. And so I zoomed in really, really close because they look pretty close, right? I zoomed in and I measured twice, and this is indeed the side, and therefore, only 4 feet in height is required. Ms. Blair was handling this case before me, and I understand that that she worked with the applicant to agree, verbally in principle to move the fence 20 feet from the property line, from the sidewalk rather, to help really blend it with the character of the area, but maybe even more importantly, to prevent any potential line of sight issues for that residence to the immediate east, you see? Mm-hmm. Yeah, pulling in and out of their driveway. So that's why that is noted on there. Staff analysis just gave that, and let's see. All other zoning code requirements would be met by this proposed fence. Therefore, staff recommends approval with the following conditions. All applicable permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, and any other applicable agency prior to construction. And the east to west fence is set back 20 feet from the sidewalk on Cold Creek Boulevard. That's listed as a condition simply to reflect the conversation staff had with the applicant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this request?
Clayton Wimmer, 914 South Meadow Drive. My fiance and I, we look forward to the approval of the zoning for our fence. We look forward to enjoying the privacy of our backyard in future pets, future children, and the ability to enjoy the property in privacy. Thank you.
Before you go away, 'cause I see just your wife is over here, unless she's going to talk.
No, that's my mother.
Your mother? I'm sorry.
Hey, I'll take that.
It was a compliment. The fence itself is going to be uniform all the way around? I mean,
Correct.
it's a closed, is that what you're talking about?
Correct.
That was my question. Okay, is there anyone else wish to speak in favor of the request?
Mr. Chairman, fellow committee members, Steve Pajali, 1033 Wayne Street. I'm speaking as a private citizen, not as a city commissioner. I just would like you to give favorable consideration to this request, as they're a young couple. They do teach outside of Sandusky, but they wanted to remain in Sandusky after they get married. So I would just like your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak in favor of this request or against this request? If not, we'll return to the board for questions.
Just a question to staff. Are, in that neighborhood, I didn't get the opportunity to get out there, are there many 6-foot privacy fences similar to this in that development?
I was going to say maybe I can take a stab at this because my daughter lives on the east corner from you, and I think around the block, I believe there is a 6-foot privacy fence on a home that sits on a corner as well, and I'm sure you guys can probably speak to that. But I believe a similar case may exist. Yes.
Just please
Sure.
come up, William. Make sure you tell us who you are so that we don't confuse you with his fiancee.
Monica Powers, 530 Nantucket, Sandusky, Ohio. I had driven around the neighborhood, and 802 Old Mill Place is a home on the corner, and I did take a picture and measured, and theirs is a 6-foot fence with actually less of a distance from the sidewalk to ensure that we were, kind of going with what's been paved.
Great.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve this variance. I will always iterate that fences don't necessarily make good neighbors. I have to say it every time we have a fence variance, but understand the situation, appreciate that you've moved it 20 feet off of the sidewalk to help improve sightlines. So I would make a motion to approve this with all permits being obtained.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions on the motion? If not, would you call the roll?
It's implied.
Okay. William Siemens,
Yes.
Blake Harris,
Yes.
John Fike.
Yes, the motion is approved. And thank you for staying in Sandusky.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is 1415 Cedar Point Road. It's a variance to zoning code section 1145.15 to allow the construction of an accessory structure in the front yard, whereas accessory structures are not permitted to project into the front yard. We have staff's comments. Is there anything additional you wish to add?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This pertains to parcel 55-00264.000. Moving on the slide, on the left hand of the slide, you see this parcel is zone R175 single-family residential, as are the surrounding parcels. This is on the Cedar Point Chaussee, also known as Cedar Point Road. On the right-hand side is a better look at character of this neighborhood from an aerial perspective. On the left side is a street view photo taken of the area in question, and on the right hand is a photo of the existing concrete pad on which a 12 by 24 feet cabana is proposed. Okay, got that, yep. Got that right. And now is a proposed site plan. On the right-hand side is the portion of the property outlined in red, and then outlined in black is the proposed cabana. Again, 12 by 24. And here are some elevations. You see from the top, there's a side elevation. Going down immediately is another side. And then onto the top right, a lakeside elevation from what it looks like from the water, and then a roadside elevation from Cedar Point Road. And at this time, I guess I'll say, I don't believe this board is any stranger to this kind of request on Cedar Point Road, but I'll reiterate, the reason this is required is because although they are driven through by a road, there's a road separating the portions of this parcel. It is all one parcel. And so because this portion of the parcel exists in the front or in front of the house, that's what makes it still the front yard. Okay. Staff analysis, gave a little bit there. This proposed variance would allow the applicant to locate the accessory structure in the front yard, thus allowing them to enjoy similar rights as other property owners along Cedar Point Road. Our engineering department added that floodplain insurance is still required on this property, and that a floodplain development permit application will also be required. All other zoning code requirements would be met by the proposed cabana, and one comment of support was received for the project. Therefore, we recommend approval with our typical condition of all applicable permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, and any other applicable agency prior to construction. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone who wish to speak in favor of this request?
Hi, my name is Rick Jazity with Meraki Architects, representing the owners, Herb and Robin Gilliam. I just wanted to point out, too, that part of this submittal is there's a new concrete wall that is going in the front. It's right on the setback of the right-of-way line, but that will extend the length of the property, as shown on the T1 drawing that was submitted. So there's an existing seawall, as you can see, that purple line on the right-hand side of what's shown on the screen. There's going to be another wall on the left-hand side, so it's going to be pretty much like a flat area for them to walk, and stairs going down towards the road. But the stairs will be within or beyond the right-of-way. It's not going to intrude into the right-of-way at all. I hope that makes sense.
The picture shows stairs being there. Are those the ones remaining?
Yes, correct.
Wood steps?
I'm sorry?
It's marked wood steps on
The existing steps are wood. The new steps will be concrete.
Are they going to replace the same exact spot?
Correct.
Okay. I don't know how that affects, you're putting it, it's in the right of way, but it's also in the sand. I don't know if that's an issue with anybody. When I say anybody, I'm looking at staff.
I'm sorry, the existing wood steps, I'm not 100% positive that those are in the right-of-way, but the new concrete steps will not be in the right-of-way.
The new ones will not be?
Correct.
Okay.
That's not a right-of-way.
Okay. Any other questions from board members?
Are the conduits in the photo, are those just for electrical?
There's existing conduits for electrical, and there's existing PVC for plumbing.
Was that something that was removed, or was that, you started, the work started, and then you realized we needed a variance?
I don't know when this started. This has been like this for the past year, I think. But he wants to build the cabana on top of what's there. I don't know the story behind the slab that's there already.
So is this our second, staff, is this our second one, or is this our third now that we've done on the Chaussee for Cabanas?
Since I've been here, I feel like there's been.
Well, I'm saying
half a
just even in the
dozen.
last, like, just
This
several
might be the
months.
third one
Okay.
in 2025.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought. Okay,
A lot of
very
people get their building plans together in the springtime, and they're ready.
of course. It's a good time.
Mr. Harris, I believe Mr. Josity was also an applicant or an agent for one of those applicants.
Okay, that's
too.
why you look familiar. Okay, that's why I didn't know if it was a second or a third. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks for filling the gap there. All right, awesome.
Okay, any other questions? Motion is in order?
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve this variance so long as it meets the requirements and recommendations presented by the staff, and that all permits are pulled prior to further construction of this site.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? None, if you call the roll, please.
John Fike,
Yes,
Blake Harris,
Yes,
William Siemens.
Yes.
variance is approved.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Good night, everyone.
You as well, thank you.
Okay, items on the April 17th meeting, we'll have the item that was tabled. From our last meeting, we tabled a sign that's been removed. They did something different, which
Human
meets zoning.
Services.
At the, yes.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
So we know that's not there. So what else additional may be on the agenda?
One other application for fence height and another cabana
Okay,
on Cedar Point Road.
okay.
And two for fence height. Okay, two, so three total, four total, counting this tabled one today.
Okay, then a motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
And I apologize to everybody again for my lack of looking at the right time on my calendar.